Hey everybody, Mom H with Honey Hollow Homestead. Um, don't mind me, I'm scratching my leg. I am inside. You probably hear the air conditioner. I'm sorry, it's too hot to turn it off. So hopefully you can hear me okay. Um, Hold on one second. Okay, I hear a kid crying. Sounds like it could be Bunny. Huh. She was crying after the other goats when I peeked out just before I came up here. Uh, I didn't see her. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm up here because it's too hot outside. It is about 85 degrees and climbing. The humidity is high. Uh, I think we're supposed to get a high of 91. Um, Not as bad as some other days that we've had, but it's still quite warm. The humidity is what makes it bad. Um, and it was quite humid last night too. Um, yeah, it's been a little rough this week. Um, this morning I was digging a hole. About 6:30 this morning I was digging a hole. Coco's little boy um, got sick. I don't know what it was. I found him yesterday morning when I went to let the goats out in the morning. All the other goats, all the other kids came out. Okay, raring to go for the day. Um, and I hear this cry. So I go in, and there's this kid just laying there in the barn. It wasn't flat out. He was laying in a proper position. So I was like, "What's up? What's the problem?" And it just didn't like. He had that kind of like I don't feel good cry. Um, so it's like, okay, I thought maybe it was just heat related, because it's been warm. So I encouraged him to get up. He got up. He still had some strength. Um, he was obviously weak. He obviously was not feeling well. But he followed the other goats over to the barn, which is where I prefer for them to be during the day, is in the run-in, okay? Because they have the choice. They get a nice breeze behind the barn. They get a nice breeze in the run-in. So it really is the best place for them to be. I chase them out of the goat barn in the morning, and I don't let anybody in there. I close the gate behind me, okay? Because it gets too warm in that barn, and that's where they want to go because that's their safe spot. So the run-in is their secondary safe spot. So I let them. I pushed him to go out, okay, and he did, and I proceeded. I'm thinking it was heat related. I figure, okay, I get him over there where he'll be cool. I keep an eye on him. Um, I had uh, goat electrolytes on hand. I had bought them a couple of years ago to have on hand. Go in the barn, find them. I never opened the bag. Okay, never had to. I look at it. Mice had gotten into it. Great. Just when I needed it. I had it. I needed it. And the mice had gotten into it, ruined it. So that was a waste. I said, okay, now what can I do? I mean, this was on a Saturday. Most places close around noon. Um, I had Gatorade on hand. I bought it for my husband. He didn't drink it all. I still had some. It's got electrolytes in it. It's not specifically goat, but it's better than nothing. So I found my drencher. Had to clean it because I left it set too long. So I cleaned up my drencher, and I got that going good. And I drenched him with a full drencher of Gatorade, thinking that would help. It seemed to perk him up. Okay, so okay, I figured, we'll go with that. And I think I got a little bit of probiotics and stuck that a little bit into him because that's got additional stuff in it, vitamins and stuff. So I figured, it wasn't going to hurt him and it might help. So between the Gatorade and the probiotics, I thought he'd be okay. He wasn't interested in nursing, and he wasn't interested in food, um, but he was interested in water. I seen him go down and take a drink out of the water trough. He was interested in water. Okay, and he was laying down that way. So after all that, I gave him about an hour before I went back out. Just see, leave him alone, because I mean, you can stress them out too much by handling them too much, especially when they don't feel good. So it's a balancing act. And I went out later, and I didn't see him. Okay, there was no sign of any obviously sick goats. So I figured, okay, he's obviously feeling better, and he's bounced back and he's doing good. So I put it on my mind. Now I also had to go and drench Rudolph. Okay, um, Rudolph is the one who got an infected nose, which is how he got his name Rudolph. He cut his leg up. His castration got messed up, and he just had his surgery. Was it last week or the week before? Okay. Um, so this kid had issues, and then now he developed diarrhea. Okay. It's like at first, when I first noticed the diarrhea in the pen, I thought probably Billy, because he hasn't been getting out. But then when I had it, Rudolph was outside the pen and Billy was inside the pen, but Rudolph was crying to get back in the pen. I noticed there was diarrhea outside the pen. I said, okay, it's obviously Rudolph. So I'm thinking it's probably stress related because I had made him come out of the pen for the last couple of days, and he wasn't used to doing that. But I made him come out, and he was just all messed up. So, okay. First thing I do, because it is a symptom of worms, I did give him, the first time I noticed it, I dosed him with wormer. Okay. And then because he had the wormer in the system, and that's a poison to kill the worms, the next day I gave him some probiotics. Okay. Then I watched to see if there was any more diarrhea. I did see signs of diarrhea. So, okay. Since I'm drenching, I might as well drench him with Gatorade too, because that'll help. Um, so I drenched him. I gave him 2 drenches of Gatorade. Okay. He wasn't really acting sick, but diarrhea, they can go downhill real quick with that. Okay. So I drenched him twice gave him 2 doses of drenching with the Gatorade. Okay. Which he accepted okay. And I didn't notice any diarrhea today, and he seemed to want to come out of the pen, whereas the last couple of mornings he didn't. So I let him come out. He seems happy. Okay, he's not crying as much. So hopefully we got that under control with him. So anyway, back to Coco's little boy. I went out later just to check on things, and I saw something white on the backside of the water trough. I'm thinking it was a duck, but then when I looked, I said, "That doesn't look right. That looks like a kid." So I went down. Sure enough, it was Coco's little boy. He hadn't bounced back. He was just as bad, if not worse, than he was. So, I didn't stay up on him. I would have taken his temperature earlier. I didn't see him. I didn't see him. He was hiding. Um, on the plus side, he was in a spot where he was getting cooled off. Okay, because the ducks were getting in and out of the water trough, and they were splashing him with water, and he was getting the breeze. So it was a cool spot where he was. Obviously, he had a fever, and when I took his temperature, yes, he did have a slight fever. He was probably cooler than he would have been because of where he was laying. But I dosed him again, contacted the vet, um, and he had suggested that I give him two things for fever, which I didn't have either one. I had aspirin. So I looked up online because he couldn't remember the exact dosage off the top of his head. He was probably out somewhere where he couldn't access the information. So I appreciate that he even responded to my text. And we went with the aspirin. Okay, gave him some aspirin, drenched him with the Gatorade again. Um, and I mean, every time I drenched him with the Gatorade, there's sugar in the Gatorade, so that's going to give him a little bit extra energy. But it just it seemed to perk him up a little bit, but he didn't completely turn around. And one of the things that Beth said was to get him in a cool place. Well, there really wasn't any place cool. It was hot yesterday. Uh, leave him in the run-in. I don't have a way of fencing him in. Plus, we got the Honey and Chucky that are in there, large animals, and you're just asking for accidents, okay? With a sick animal that can't get out of the way. So I brought him in the house. Gracie's been sleeping on my bed lately, not in her crate at night. So I figured, well, I'll just put him in Gracie's crate, and I turned the fan on to him. Put a little bit of hay in there so there would be some hay. So if he did turn around and he felt up to it, he could eat. Got up this morning, he was gone. I'm not too surprised because he wasn't turning around. Okay, he wasn't coming back. So it was a pretty sick boy. And I did everything that I could for him. But I don't know if if I could have done anything else differently. I don't know. I think maybe he might have eaten something that he shouldn't have. That's my just like a feeling I have. Um, I'm still fairly new with goats. I don't know it all by any stretch of the imagination. He wasn't showing any neurological symptoms at all. He just obviously he was not feeling good. He had no interest in food. So something in the gut. That was my feeling. Um, and I mean, it could have been pneumonia because I've heard that pneumonia comes on goats pretty quick. I wouldn't have expected that this right now. This with in the weather conditions we have, heat related. I don't think it was hot enough for him to succumb to the heat. Um, I don't know. I don't know. But that is what what went down with him. Um, and earlier this week, a couple days ago, um, Honey accidentally stepped on a small duck. Unfortunately, it was a hen. If she had stepped on a drake, it wouldn't have been as big a deal. But this was a small hen, a young hen, and I know at the very least, her pelvis was broken. At the very least, um, it was an accident. There was just a million of ducks. They do this. I don't know. They just got to wherever you are, they got a mill and be right there underfoot. And I mean, I didn't even have a feed can with me, but they were right there, bringing honey in, and with all the big ducks around, she couldn't. That little duck just couldn't get out of the way, and unfortunately, Honey stepped right on her, and um, I had to put her down. Um, Unfortunately, um, and because of how the she was stepped on, I figure she probably had internal injuries. I wasn't even going to think about trying to save the meat. Um, yeah, I just took her out in the woods. So, um, anyway, so that was the duck and Coco's kid. And um, one thing I did, and I don't know if any other farmer does this. Um, I'll explain why I do it. Okay. But one thing I want to do, because the kid died in my house away from his mom, I wanted to make sure that she was aware that this kid was gone. Okay, so I took the kid back out with me when I let the goats out this morning, and I laid him on the ground just outside the goat pen, so that when I opened the gate, they would see it. I feed them a little bit in the morning, put the feed in the bin. Coco is more interested in the feed. I don't know that she ever touched noses or sniffed her kid. I don't know that she ever did. Uh, Now the kids, all the kids, they did. When they came out, they saw this kid laying there. They sniffed it, and so they were aware. Um, Coco, she had to walk right past it when she came out of the pen. So even though I didn't see her put her nose to it, I know she saw it. She couldn't miss it. Um, and you know, I don't know. It seems to me that they don't seem to get as attached to the boys as they do to the girls. I mean, just maybe I'm just imagining it. I don't know, but that's what it seems to me. It just seems to me that the girls they are more attached to than the boys. Um, Now, I did bury him in the compost pile. Okay, from the run-in, because I'll tell you, everything is dry here. It is The ground is hard packed because it is so dry. There was no way I could dig a hole anywhere else. Um, so I dug a hole in the compost pile, and that was the only place where I would have been able to do it. And whereas I know that the compost pile is going to get more added to it, eventually it's going to get piled even higher. So, anyway, yeah, that's what I do. I let the animals know that their herd companion is deceased. If at all possible, I let them see the body. If they want to smell the body, I let them do it. Okay. Um, some animals are more attached than others. Some don't care. It's like, oh, good. You know, I'm not dead. That one's dead. I'm not dead. Okay. People think that animals think about death the way we do. They don't. They are far more practical about it. Um, Now, you'll find some animals, like your um, horses, seem to get a little bit more attached to herd buddies. In certain situations, they might get a special attachment to one particular animal. But generally speaking, there's a death. They acknowledge, they understand what death is, and they move on. Okay. Um, Coco has another kid. She has her little doe. So she's not without a kid, and she will bond with it, and she's moved on. Um, but to get worked up about, oh, an animal shouldn't see when another animal dies. No, no, not letting them see, not letting them understand, acknowledge or be aware of the death of their herd mate. Um, I think that is more cruel than killing it or having it die amongst them. Okay. Sometimes it can't be helped. Okay. Like when Deezy had to be put down. Um, I could not show Honey the body. I just couldn't. So Honey mourned for a couple days. Okay. Just crying for her because she didn't know. If she had seen the body, she would have known, she would have been fine. Okay. Um, and other animals, usually, if they see the body, if they, even if they don't like make a big fuss over it, they acknowledge, they understand, they have an understanding. They know what death is, they know it's an ending, and you move on. Life goes on, you move on. Okay. And so I don't have a problem with an animal seeing their flock mate, herd mate, would have you, being killed. Especially um, like the duck I had to put down. Um, I used my 22. I did it that way because I wasn't sure I had the strength to be able to break her neck. I have done that before. I don't like it, but it was a much smaller bird. Okay. This duck, I don't know if I could have done her neck. So I used my 22. Okay. Because I knew my axe wasn't sharp. Okay. And so the 22 is the best option. But the duck laid there for a little bit while I went and did other things that I had to take care of because it was right about feeding time. I had to deal with this. So her flock mates know that she was dead. They didn't care. Trust me, they don't care. The only thing they care about is whether or not it was them or not. But they don't care about their other flock mate. Okay. So I don't know what kind of response I'm going to get from this video because, it's not touchy feely. It's not over the rainbow bridge and all this, that, and the other. Okay. That's all fine and good. I understand it. The concept, we mourn more than the animals mourn. Okay. What is hardest on them is the not knowing. If they know, they're fine with it. Okay. It's part of life and they understand that. Okay. So anyway, that is the bad part of having livestock. And if you're just thinking about getting into homesteading, if you're just thinking about getting into livestock, you've got to be prepared for that. And okay, chickens are easy to deal with, ducks are easy to deal with. Then you get into larger livestock. Okay. I mentioned to my pastor this morning, he raises cattle. Okay. I raise goats. I said this morning, I was very grateful that I did not raise cattle. He said, why? I said, because I would have had to dig a bigger hole. So, and that it seems strange, but that's one of the things I was thinking about. Because I was getting a lot of pressure from my neighbors and the government offices here in this county that I should do cattle. I should run cattle in this property. They had cattle here before. And I said, no, not at my age. I'm not going to get into cattle. Well, I'm glad I don't, because for one, I don't have the money for a tractor. Okay, I don't have the money for a backhoe. What would I do with the body of a bovine? Huh? Cow, steer, bull, what have you. What was I going to do with it? I'd have to call for somebody to come in and deal with it, and I couldn't do it. Okay, um, not if you're running cattle. Okay, it was more than what I was able to deal with. Okay, it was beyond my capabilities, and I knew that, and I understood that. I mean, I didn't even, like I said, I hadn't planned on having Chucky. Chucky was just one of those things that I think God planned on me having him, and just had everything work out the way they did for me to get him. I'm not sorry I got him, but believe me, at the size he is right now, one of the things I do think about, what if something happens to him before I can get to the butcher? Okay, I would have to get help to deal with him. Okay, as it is, if I can't find a trailer to buy between now and when he has to go, I'm going to have to find some help to get him to the butcher. So, still looking. There's nothing available. If I could get a gooseneck, if I could pull a gooseneck, I'd get a gooseneck yesterday. Okay, goosenecks are easy to come by. Longer trailers are easy to come by. A 12-foot bumper pull that has doors, not a ramp, near impossible. If I want to drive 3 or 4 hours, yeah, okay. I found one or two far away, but handy to me, near impossible to find. I've got different people keeping their eyes open for me, and there's just been nothing. So, anyway, let's get into a little bit of good news. That was a bit of a downer, wasn't it? I'm sorry, people. I hope I didn't ruin your Sunday. Some good news is that I have made arrangements with my neighbor, not my golden neighbor, my other neighbor on the other side of me, to buy his second cutting hay. So long as I can get someone to help me get it off get it off his field. But we've agreed that I will buy it, okay, for the price of fuel. Now at this point, that's around $250. He figures a bale. I said, okay, but I understand by the time he has to cut it, the price could go up. And I told him I understand that, okay, but he's willing to do that for me if I can get a couple guys to help me get it out of the field and get it in my barn. So that's one of the things I need to do. Hopefully I can find a couple guys. He figures he ought to be able to get 100 bales. Okay, I figure if I get at least 50, I'm not complaining. Okay, anything over 50 is gravy. If it's 100, 150, awesome. Okay, I'll just stuff my barn as full as I can get it. I also have my golden neighbor who does round bales, and he's got hay that I can buy from him. Now, we haven't discussed price, but I'm raising his price for him, whether he likes it or not. He's argued with me about it before. I said, no, this time, the price of diesel is too high. I am definitely going to be raising his price for him. And he may argue with me a little bit. I said, don't argue with me. So, and we'll see if I give him enough. I'm hoping I can give him enough. I really don't know how much fuel he uses for the tractor. I really don't have a clue. Maybe if I talk to my other neighbor, I can find out what he thinks would be a fair price. Okay, because I know he's been selling me the hay cheaper than it needs to be. I know it. Okay, and I appreciate it. I really do appreciate him doing that for me, but he doesn't need to. So I realize that my place is not as nice and fancy as his place, but it's a process. My place is a construction zone. Okay, we're still in the process of getting things done. And when You got one person doing it who is not necessarily skilled labor and having to be careful how much money she spends, and the price of materials going up just when she starts getting money in. Um, you know, things are going to take longer and things have to be adjusted. So hopefully I'll get things to where it looks nice and it looks like we have a little bit more than what we do. I don't know. I mean, I don't want it to look like we're rolling in money. Okay. I don't want it to look like that because that's when you're asking for trouble. I want it to look like we're living within our means. Okay. We don't have a lot. We don't need a lot. We're managing and that's fine. Okay. We're comfortable. Of course, we'd be more comfortable if I had running water, right? Well, hopefully, um, we'll get that taken care of before the end of the summer. I just, I got to get that barn done. I did get all the wall boards cut. I am working on cleaning out my son's area. I tell you, I did not know that one person could own so many CDs and DVDs. That's what I've been boxing up for the past little while. It's like I get one box done and I start filling another one. They're holding around, they're still coming. So I had no idea he had as many CDs and DVDs as he's got. And of course, I can't pack those into large boxes because then I won't be able to lift them. So I'm packing in small boxes, all these things. So packing them up, and they're just going to go up in the loft in the barn. Okay, um, and it is what it is. One of these days, maybe he'll come down to get them. I don't know. I can't ship them. Not up to Canada. I just can't. It would cost me a fortune to ship all this stuff up there. So I'll just pack it away for him. One of these days, maybe he'll get it. And maybe not. Maybe Jesus will come back before that. I ain't going to worry about it. But anyway, I'm working on getting that area cleaned out, packed up, moved out, and then I'll start cleaning that up. I mean, I am cleaning it up. I start working on the insulation and the wallboard and getting the walls painted and getting the floor painted. Like I said, can't afford flooring. I have floor paint. That's what's going on my floor. It is what it is. It's better than bare wood, right? So that's what's going in there. And once that's done, and I get my husband moved back in that room where he's out of my way, okay, then I can turn my attention back to the kitchen area and concentrate on getting that done. And it'll be a lot easier than trying to work around him. Okay, so that is the plan. Get that room done. I'm working outside in the morning. Okay, trying to work on the barn. Now the barn's at a standstill right now because I have to get material. Okay, I need to get some more barn lime and I need to get a little bit of lumber. So anyway, I need materials before I can finish it. So that's why I'm doing a little bit as I can. Okay, so that's in the morning. In the afternoon, when it's too hot to work outside, I'm working inside. Okay, and I am getting the other end where my son was sleeping. I'm getting that end cleared out, cleaned up, and done. Okay, and then hopefully uh, by September, I'm hoping by my birthday to be able to get working on the water and get my water running into the house. So hopefully. So with everything else going on, at least we got good news. We got to pray for rain. We all need rain. Okay, everybody's crying for rain right now. We're not as bad off as the West, but everybody right now is crying for rain. My grass is brown. I'm feeding a little bit of hay to Honey and Chucky right now. The goats are still able to get around and get browse. I'm not as worried about the goats. Of course, Billy gets hay. I'm letting Little Man and Rudolph out during the day, so they're not eating as much hay. Um, but even the girls, I've been leaving some hay out for them so they can nibble on it, and they have been nibbling on it. So they go out and get browse. There's still some browse out there for them to eat. But the creek is dry, the grass is brown, and I'm not the only one. Pastor made mention of it this morning. We all were praying for rain. We all need it. There have been some showers come through north of us, south of us, west of us, and east of us. I watch the radar periodically, check the radar, okay? Because I'm hoping and praying for rain. And all these, they're getting showers all around us. But this area, we're getting very little. We got, like I said on Appalachia Homestead, the Terra, I said, we got enough rain to polka dot the ground. Okay, that's all we got. Now, I'll tell you something, is that little bit, believe it or not, those few drops we got, they are running down my roof, and they're running into the gutter, and I'm getting a couple of drops going into my storage containers. Okay, so we are getting a little bit, but I am concerned. I don't know how much water I have left for my goats, but pray for rain, people, because we do need it. But we're not the only ones. The West needs it. There may be some systems coming up for them. I don't know. I think there was something coming in up northwest, but it's the Midwest that really needs it. So pray for rain. Everybody needs it. We don't need it all at once now, mind you. Now, let's not get too greedy here. We just need some good steady rain. So, anyway, I'm not going to be on here too long because I'm just rambling to myself. Nobody's been in the chat. They're probably just like laying low, either working outside if they got nice weather. It's too hot here in the afternoon. I'm inside. I did get another box moved to the barn this morning after I dug a hole. So, anyway, I hope you all have a good rest of the Sunday afternoon. Stay cool. Think about it. Pray for rain. And one other thing I want to say, I don't know how everybody else feels about it, but I am ecstatic about the ruling of the Supreme Court. I'm all about states' rights. Okay. That was something that was a state issue. It should have been a state issue. Now, me personally, I am against the murder of innocent babies. Okay. And that's what it is. I refuse to use the A word. Okay. I'm going to call it what it is. It's murdering babies. Okay. You can agree with me or disagree with me. That's your choice. But for me, that's what it is. My family has had adoptions because different people in my family have had fertility issues. There is no need to kill babies because I know that there are many, many people out there who have fertility issues that would love to adopt your baby if you cannot care for it. I'm not saying it would be easy for you to part with it, but you know what? Having a little bit of inconvenience in your life for a few months is not nearly as final as murdering a baby. Okay? So, I'm very much in favor of adoption. I am very much in favor of life. Okay? It's not our place to take the life. So, anyway, I am very happy about the ruling. And maybe because of that, maybe we have staved off well-deserved judgment from God. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we have a little bit of a reprieve. I don't know. All depends on what you believe. Okay. Anyway, I got to get off this thing. So get some work done. Plus, I need to get a drink. I'm getting dry up here. So have a good one, people. Stay cool. This is Mom H with Honey Hollow Homestead. Talk to y'all later.